even if they were brutally killed in an accident or something like that and hadn't been able to communicate for months. People want to know. They want that sense of closure. And right now, Miss Lizzie had no closure. She only had confusion. Confusion mixed with extreme anxiety. But outside, Elisa and Emma were going over their map. Elisa had her magnifying glass out that her father had given her on her 7th birthday, and she focused on the tiny letters that she found on the map. The first clue on the map said the following: "It quenched the thirst of a generation, but it cannot do so now." Emma looked at that and said, "What the heck does that mean?" Elisa said, "Quiet, I'm thinking." And as she looked it over, the pieces came into her mind. It was an interesting thing about Elisa Bartlett. She was a prodigy, an intelligent genius who had an uncanny ability to place problems into her mind, leave them there, and essentially allow her mind to find the solution on its own time while she did other things. That, when she tried to describe that once to her mother couldn't understand, and even Emma doesn't understand it today, but later in life, psychologists said this was a common condition with people of extraordinarily high IQs, where their mind can actually take a problem. You can more or less seal it off from your day-to-day activities and let the mind work it until it's ready to send out the answer. And that perfectly described Elisa Bartlett to a T. So when the riddle came through, it quenched the thirst of a generation, but it cannot do so anymore. When that came through, when she saw that, she just laid it into her mind, filed it into her mind, and said, "Let me know when you have the answer," basically. Emma, however, being very impatient, said, "Well, what does it mean? What does it mean?" Elisa said, Just relax. Just relax, Emma. I know. Okay, relax." Emma, a very athletic and very skilled physical athlete, was also a person with amazing amounts of energy and very little patience. Elisa had witnessed this many times, including the time that they were supposed to fix a window in the barn, and she insisted on going up through a ladder through the outside of the barn, through an empty window, an open window, and in so doing crashed right through the hayloft, bringing it all down to the ground in a giant heap. Nobody could tell her to not do it. She wanted the excitement of coming in a different way or fixing it a different way, but yet she failed. This was a typical case. Emma was a risk taker. She sometimes didn't seem to even care what happened to her body. She was that kind of person, the diametric opposite of Elisa. Many people wondered how the two of them could be sisters only 1 year apart, with Elisa as the younger and Emma as the older. Elisa sat down on the beach and gazed out at the sea. Emma said, "Are we going to go figure out this map, or are we just going to sit here?" Elisa just looked at her impatient sister and said, "Hold it." Emma was experienced enough in her sister's ways to know that this meant she did have to be quiet, because Ultimately, Elisa will find the answer. It will come out, usually pretty quickly. But she couldn't be interrupted while her brain was working away on these types of problems. So Emma thought, okay, I'll let her do her thing. And she ran directly into the ocean and began swimming out and then making a giant U-turn and swimming all the way back. And when she finally came up from the beach, her clothes dripping, Elisa just shook her head and said, "What caused that to happen?" And Emma said, "What caused what to happen?" I said, "Why did you jump into the ocean and swim like half a mile and back again and ruin your clothes?" Emma looked down at her wet clothes, some of it which was covered with seaweed and a few other little items, as if she had never noticed. Again, Elisa just rolled her eyes. Emma said, "Did you figure it out yet?" Passing over Elisa's reaction to her little swimming episode. And Elisa just quietly looked out at the ocean and then down at her feet. And suddenly it came to her. I got it. Her brain retrieved the answer and delivered it to her frontal aware brain, the part of her brain that carries messages out and conclusions out to the world. And she said, I know where this is. In fact, I know exactly where this is. Emma, impatient as always, said, Where? Let's go. She said, I'll tell you.